Well, hello and welcome and hello, good evenings, greetings, salutations, hello and welcome and hello. It is Un Poco Mas. My name's Danny Deals. It is a special midnight edition, Midnight Madness Un Poco Mas. We still try to bring you just a little bit more, guys. Remember, when your back's against the wall, and you've given all you have. You just don't have anything left to give, but your job's not done. Reach down deep inside yourself and give just a little bit more. That's the Un Poco Moss. That's what we try to give you on this show. Um, Guys, of course, we want to talk SOFI stock, ticker symbol SOFI, SOFI Technologies Incorporated. Guys, so much incredible news on the stock. It was sort of what would have been, I think, almost the announcement of the year, the announcement of the decade, becoming the official banking partner of the National Basketball Association, I think is just um, a massive story. But today, CPI data came in a little bit hot. It wasn't, crazy hot. It just wasn't quite as low as they were expecting. Every time that CPI number is a little bit hot, basically they use it to just scare the hell out of retail, drive people out, stop loss rates, and then I think you'll see market makers buy a lot of these shares back up because ultimately, the market likes a strong economy. The market likes strong employment. Yes, the market does not like inflation, and the market certainly doesn't like the uncertainty with the Fed in terms of knowing when rate cuts are coming. But I don't think this changes the overall story for SoFi. I think the bullish news we got today is far more important than if rate cuts come in, the beginning of summer, the middle of summer, whatever it is. I think SoFi's proven they're going to be absolutely fine. So I think it's kind of deceptive because we're down 31 cents on the day. What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? I know not many people are going to be here. It's the middle of the night or whatever, back on the East Coast. Again, apologies to J Money, not a lurker. I know he had to actually get some sleep. Guy has a life and family and a job. How dare he? But in any case, guys, if you get out of line, he will hit you with his wrench next time. But so much exciting news. We can talk about all of it, but I kind of want to go back to the two major forces acting on this stock. It's like the shorts and the institutions, the bears and the bulls. And I think things are clearly flipping to the bullish side. You saw a filing today, 13G from Vanguard. They increased their stock in SoFi 15.5%. They now own 81.459 million shares. So that's 8.5% of the company. Now, what's the significant? Doesn't seem that significant. Okay, Vanguard bought 13 million more shares. What's the big deal, right? Well, the big deal is that's 1.3% of all the shares that are completely taken off the table. Vanguard's obviously a very long-term outlook on SoFi, a very bullish outlook. What's up, P Sizzle? P Sizzle, come on, you're on tilt. Don't make me mute you. I don't have a I don't have a moderator here. Not a lurkers in Hawaii, but one diamond hands is enough. But in any case, G Sizzle aside, guys. So Vanguard coming in. Why is this important? Why are all these things important? Everything else is noise, guys. CPI is noise. These default rates are noise. Them attacking fair value accounting is noise. This is what actually matters, in my opinion, are these filings. I mean, you see just every single day 15, 20 institutions buying into the stock. And yes, some are selling. That's very true. But I don't that's weird. See Armistice Capital, who's usually one of the short long hedge funds that's in a lot of penny stocks. Vanguard again, added a lot of shares. BlackRock filed today. Um, What's up, Colombian Kingpin? Yeah, they're definitely not. There's not that much going on with student loans pieces. All the growth has been coming in, and mostly personal loans, and now shifting into financial services. Student loans have actually been completely, basically shut down for several years, as you may or may not have noticed. But in any case, guys, So, okay, institutions buying in, but the short has increased at the same time. Those two things are really not compatible because obviously, shorts need to drive the price down to cover at a profit, and institutional longs who are scooping up shares at this level, obviously, if they're buying at this level, they're going to buy more aggressively down at lower levels as long as the story remains the same. I mean, they don't care about these shorts. If you look at the companies that are short, they're not the big names, guys. They're not the BlackRocks. They're not, yeah, some of them are short a few shares, and actually Goldman is shorting the stock fairly aggressively. They have a longer, they have a bigger long position, but they are shorting the stock fairly aggressively. What's up, Doofus Rufus? Hello and welcome. What's up, Joel? What's up, Six Kings? Yeah, that's the whole key, Six Kings. That's what we've been talking about for a long, long time. That's exactly right. Institutions stabilize the stock price, and as more institutions come in day by day, shorts are just going to have to let go of the stock because they can't push it down. I mean, it's just that simple. If these guys are scooping up a bunch of shares in the low eights, how are they not going to buy shares in the high sixes? Again, all things remain the same. Now, if we hit, some type of hard landing, big recession, economic crisis, war, obviously that plays right into the shorts' hands, and then it's a different ballgame. But that's not the trajectory we're on right now. The economy in the U.S. looks pretty strong. I think rates will come down this year. It's just a question of when. Obviously, Noto, if you saw his interview, he's extremely conservative. I mean, he's talking, 3 to 4 rate cuts. He's talking, 5% unemployment. Noto basically builds in a worst case scenario. The chart actually looks pretty good. Um, if we can hold this level, that is. Now futures are green just by a whisper. They're basically flat. So we really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. There's a lot of factors. It is a hump day, but right now the chart actually looks pretty good. There's nothing the stock's not breaking down, and it never broke down after the pump and dump. It started at 750, it finished at 750. They never drove it down anywhere near the level the shorts who were shorting like 680 to 740 fairly recently could actually cover. So the chart, doesn't look too scary. If you notice, the stock has been making lower lows since way back last June, and the stock is finally making some higher lows, which is critical. We have to get through this channel. It's been rejected, obviously, 3 times. But guys, no new ratings. Chris Lapointe is going to talk. Chris Lapointe's going to talk on the 26th. It's at the I think it's a UBS conference. I forget. Yeah, UBS. He's talking on the 26th. Why is that critical? It gives management an opportunity basically to talk to analysts, but also, more importantly, they're really talking to investors. Um, and they're going to tell us, I believe Lapointe's going to tell us, net profit is on track for Q1. I think they're going to make at least the same profit they made in Q4. I don't understand the trend. Pulling back on loan originations is really not going to affect the net profit. I guess, folks smarter than me who understand these adjustments that went into Q3, Q4, I guess they're expecting things to look more like Q3 than Q4, but I'm not seeing that. Management's not telling us that, and management has been very conservative thus far. Why is the NBA deal important? Of course, we've all heard about this. SoFi, the official bank of the NBA, the D League, they're going to have their sponsorship on everything. Um, I don't know how much they paid for this. It's got to be a pretty penny. They also partnered with Jason Tatum, who's I think 5 or 6 time NBA All Star. They're giving $1 million to the St. Louis community so he can help people get into buying homes, build generational wealth. It's just a great story. And people have been talking about how this is being amplified. NBA greats, retweeting SoFi. This guy's on CBS this morning. You can see all these tweets from SoFi, all these tweets from NBA. I mean, guys, again, I can't say how much we paid for this. Probably had to cut off the left arm of the company, but this is next level stuff. This is leveling up. And this is the kind of deal you can make if you're an Anthony Noto. And that's why I go back to people saying, this company's not unique. What's going to lift them the next level? Look at Noto's background. Starting out playing All-American linebacker for the United States Military Academy, graduating at the top of his class in mechanical engineering. He was a brand manager for Frito-Lay while he worked through his MBA at the University of Chicago. Hired by Goldman Sachs, quickly worked his way up. I know VP, then partner, and then basically took a leave there, ended up joining Twitter, coming back. But when he was with Goldman, he was known as, an extremely top analyst. And then his background, I think, in sports, in social media, in investment banking, and when he was analyzing with Goldman, when he sort of made his bones, he was looking at internet companies. He was looking at big, big deals, and he was known as one of the top guys in terms of this area. So if you look at how he's using his background in investment banking, in sports, in marketing, in internet, Twitter. I mean, it's very, very effective. And you're seeing SoFi right before your eyes become a household name. You're seeing that organic brand awareness. That's what these deals are about. I mean, the NBA deal is so much bigger than the stadium deal if you actually think about it in context. NBA is shown all over the world. These games are broadcast all throughout China, Europe, Asia, Latin America. Everyone loves basketball. Basketball is an Olympic sport. There's leagues everywhere. I mean, I don't care if you're in, Croatia, Italy, China, everybody loves basketball. Argentina, Brazil, everybody loves basketball. American football is more limited to America, and I know SoFi is more of an American company at this point, pushing into Latin America. But I just think this is an incredible opportunity. Not only will everyone in the United States know the name SoFi, but everyone around the world will know the name SoFi. And I think Anthony Noto is uniquely able to make deals like this based on his background, based on his relationships, just based on his strength and credibility as an individual with decades and decades of experience. That's why I think people are wrong who say, this company doesn't have any track record. Management certainly has a track record. And if you look at Galileo's management, it's extremely impressive. And people who just dismiss Galileo as some sort of ancillary tiny subsidiary out in Utah, I think they're really missing the trick of this company. And I think they're really missing the trick on the appropriate valuation because, Galileo is going to be a major part of SoFi, major contributor to revenue, major contributor to profit. And if you don't bother to understand the company, and you just say, oh, SoFi's, Galileo's not going to be able to grow. Well, why? Bears have not been able to make the case. I've heard Bears make sort of a credible case against loans, and Noto, in his infinite wisdom, is extremely conservative. He's pulling back on the loans. Noto's doing what the critics would have wanted him to do when they criticize him for doing that. So I think it's one of these stocks that's just extremely polarizing, and you love it or you hate it. And no matter what new data comes out, you don't change your mind. I mean, that's why the Chia Pet's been at 3. And no matter what happens, no matter, if they made gap net profit, if they give improved guidance, if they continue to make, huge gains in adjusted EBITDA and they say they're going to be profitable all year, he gives certain guidance that doesn't really equate to his price target. But then no matter what happens, no matter what new data he's presented with, there's no critical thinking. It's just 3, 3, 3. The company's worth 3. Well, if you think the company's going out of business, why is it worth 3? And when you're presented with all this new data, how is it still worth 3? How is it still worth 4? How do these analysts draw the same conclusions? Look at Morgan Floodly. I mean, Midwest Values. He comes out, downgrades the stock, gets the reaction he wants. And then if you look at the filings, Morgan Floodly's loading shares. So, that's the way this stuff works. It's not necessarily the most straightforward thing in the world. And unfortunately, some Pollyannish retail investors take it that way and just get stopped out and just get killed over and over. But again, I think the tide is turning. What's going on, guys? Only a fintech, only a measure. P Sizzle is very active. He's a volume shooter, folks. He's a volume shooter. Gazor, can the amount of institutional buys counter the record shorts? It is. It is countering them because the shorts can keep shorting, but to close the position, they need the price lower. I mean, or they're going to close their position at a loss. And if institutions keep buying every single day, they're not going to be able to push the price down. They have to churn, cover, and accumulate at the lows. That means run the thing sideways and wring out retail investors. That just doesn't work if Vanguard and BlackRock and ARK and smart money stepping in. Again, big bank eat little bank, big fish eat little fish. These shorts are two-bit players. They're not the Vanguards, they're not the BlackRocks, they're not, the State Streets. They don't have the juice. They're going to have to cover these positions, and that's the desperation. That's why they keep shorting. Maybe they were waiting for this number, but it's not going to work when SoFi is making announcements like these. And in 2 weeks, CLP3, Chris Lapointe, he's going to show you his crossover, and he's going to tell you that SoFi is going to continue to make more and more profit. That's what they've been telling you all along. When management speaks, nobody wants to believe him. Gary Gordon's like, hey, I would never trust management. Well, when management continues to hit their numbers, at a certain point, it builds trust. I don't know. He says 10 quarters isn't enough. Would 20 quarters, would 5 years of management, hitting everything every quarter, being conservative, hitting their goals, hitting their numbers? How many quarters do you want? If 10 quarters not enough, would they do it for 20 quarters? What about, would 10 years of results be enough? Again, it's like I said yesterday. You can't blame a 10-year-old for being 10 years old. You can't blame SoFi for only having 10 quarters as a public company. It's just their reality. Now, you can look at it skeptically. You can say they don't have a long enough track record, but therein lies the opportunity. That's why this thing is so cheap. A top 10 financial institution, just today, you're talking about like 140, $150 million $150 billion market cap. By the time SoFi might get there in like 15 years, you're probably talking about, 300 billion market cap. You're probably talking, 40, 50x. These numbers are just insane. We don't have to go there. We're not trying to slay JP Morgan. We can just keep growing, keep working toward those net margins, those 20% net margins. And, I think what nobody's pricing in is the fact that Galileo could actually catch fire. Galileo could grow a lot faster than people think, not slower. And why do they think management is all of a sudden not being conservative? Why is management going to lie and shade to the upside? They've never done that. It doesn't make any sense. They can't even cash in any of their stock till 2026. Their RSUs or PSUs or options or PlayStations or PS3s or whatever the hell they got over there. What's going on, Doofus Rufus? Yeah, I mean, Noto was really good today, very conservative, sort of very somber. That's exactly what you want to see. Making the appropriate moves so that, we don't get hurt if things go worst case scenario with the economy. Um, so far, then it will go to 650. What are they thinking? I mean, it's not possible. The options are not saying it's going to go to 650 right now, guys. That's just not what we're seeing. If you look at the volume, in fact, the puts and the calls are both stacked up at $8. You almost never see this on SoFi. There's almost always a divergence with puts, a dollar or two over here. So market makers are not looking to push the stock up or down this week, and probably also not next week. So Max Payne again, $8. That's right where we are. That's probably right about where we can expect to finish the week. Guys, they're saying they returned 5 million shares today. It just seems very suspect with what I saw. Why was there so much dumping? But if you saw Upstart was down like 7.5%, I think Affirm was down 12%. Robinhood turned in good earnings. They were popping after hours. So we just see what happens tomorrow. This market is extremely unpredictable. Um, but what do we see with SoFi? Who makes an announcement like this, guys? On just drops this on a Wednesday out of nowhere, like slight hint at it the day before. We're the official bank of the NBA. This has got to be a massive multi-year deal worth tons and tons and tons of money. And what really hit home was when Noto was talking about, how he shared a similar background with this NBA All-Star, how they both had strong mothers, but how they both would have benefited from understanding finances better from a younger age, as would their parents. And you can tell Noto's sincere. He's not one of these sociopath CEOs. He's already made his money. He once you get several $100 million, unless you're really into 800-foot sailing yachts and expensive women, expensive divorce settlements. Yeah, no offense, but what does Noto have left to prove? The guy's proven everything he has to in life. It's basically, I feel like SoFi is his baby. I feel like now he's going to prove this as a CEO, and He's a long-term guy. I don't think this is a pump. I think some of these companies are pump and dumps. I think most of these fintechs that Gary Gordon's right, they will be bankrupt in 10 years. They just won't make it. They just won't be around. There will be consolidation. But SoFi is poised to be the winner who takes most. SoFi is earning the right to win every single day. These deals are huge. Think about the credibility this brings to put your name alongside the NBA. The NBA is not going to do that with just any bank. So we saw this, we saw the announcement. Let's see. So the CPI data, I mean, how badly is this really going to affect SoFi? One of the things that, is important to look at is I keep saying this, it's almost like we have two CFOs because Anthony Noto is so good with numbers, so good with finance. They are hedging risk against interest rates. They're hedging risk against defaults. They're always hedging. They're always trying to analyze the future. SoFi's people are very, very advanced. That's why you see, no matter what's happening in the economy, SoFi steadily growing, steadily becoming more profitable on an EBITDA basis. And you see, bless you, you see these other companies, Robinhood, Affirm, Upstart, they're all over the place. Even the banks, you see them, SoFi took a write down, true, in Q3, but other than that, it's been very, very steady. Banks are taking massive write downs, billions of dollars. And Gary Gordon's like, well, growth is easy. Everybody can just grow deposits. You just pay more. Well, then why isn't Discover? Why isn't American Express? Why isn't Ally growing deposits at these rates? They're just not. SoFi has hit on something. People like SoFi. People refer their friends to SoFi. People choose to use SoFi over the available alternatives. SoFi is taking market share from the big banks. SoFi and others of course as well, are taking market share from credit unions. They're taking market share from regional banks. You can look at the statistics. Only the fintechs are growing, and SoFi is growing deposits one of the fastest of any bank in the United States. These are facts. And it's not just the rate they're paying. And then if you look at the net interest margin, SoFi's far higher. They were comparing, I think it was, the deadliest catch guy, Chris, was comparing them to Bank of America. Even though Bank of America pays way less interest, their net interest margin is paltry compared to SoFi because SoFi's making so much more interest on their loans. So, it's just however you want to measure it, they try to stack the deck against SoFi, but SoFi is performing and executing at a very high level. And you can't look at these deals Noto's making. You can't look at the SoFi Stadium deal. Everybody thought, oh, that was so foolish. It's such a bust. I think it was an absolutely brilliant deal. I think it's made SoFi a household name, the center of Los Angeles, the center of the entertainment world. Everybody knows SoFi now. The brand awareness organically is growing at an extremely high rate. Noto's talked about how hard that is to do. But again, that's his background with Twitter, with social media, with the NFL, with Goldman Sachs. It all leads to this point. Noto was made for this. And the modern SoFi is Noto's company. So the fact that analysts want to say SoFi's not going to do what they say they're going to do, don't trust management, fine. But what if they continue to do what they say they're going to do? And that's what's happened so far. But short stumped into negative news. Yeah, I mean, of course they did, Matt Flo. I mean, that's what they do. Such a good move to get exposure. Both, I mean, I don't know if they need Citizen 86. I don't know if they need baseball, but I'm sure they would move into it if it seemed attractive. I mean, if you look at the people that attend sports stadiums, you guys know how expensive that stuff is. I mean, they were talking about the Super Bowl. They were serving a $58 nacho. Everybody was up in arms. It had a cheese sauce and a piece of filet mignon. It was 58 bucks for a nacho. Who do you think these people are that are going to these stadiums and paying, you know, a king's ransom for finger foods? What am I going to trade my left arm for a taquito? What's next? But if you have that kind of money, you're a great customer. These are the kind of customers SoFi is looking for. Think about the NBA fan. Think about the people that go to those stadiums, the people that watch the games. You know, these are young people. These are the kind of customers SoFi is looking to attract and keep as customers and keep making profits from for many, many years to come. I think these partnerships are absolutely brilliant. I completely agree, Citizen 86. How's everybody doing? How's Jazor? Thanks for answering my question, Dan. Yeah, it seems like they never lose on SOFA, but I've said over and over, they're gonna let go when the smart money starts coming in big. These shorts cannot hang on against these whales, these huge companies, the BlackRocks, the Vanguards. They just can't do it. The CalPERS. If you saw who bought in, guys, California State Teachers Fund. This is extremely important. It's very, very easy to overlook. Okay, they actually trimmed their position by 3%, so I can acknowledge that, but they have about a million shares. They rebalance, but this is important because these pension funds never sell companies that are performing well. They're not juggling their portfolios all the time like hedge funds. That's just not how they manage. They're supposed to be more stable. But California state teachers, retirement teachers, they track with CalPERS a lot. You saw Texas coming in, you saw North Carolina, you saw Wisconsin. These pension funds coming in are an extremely good omen for the stock, an extremely good omen for the stock. And remember, guys, it's only been a week and a half of trading since they reported that gap net profit. What was that? It's two weeks ago, as the crow flies. 2 calendar week, 2 weeks proper. Guys, welcome and hello and good evening. It's Un Poco Moss, basic bitches. Thank you for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. I didn't have that much to say, but just kind of wanted to stalk myself to sleep. We SoFi tweaking lately. I'm in. Yeah, I mean, it's guys, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm obsessed with this stock, but I believe SoFi is a very, very unique opportunity. Kathy Wood is somebody who likes to talk a lot about disruption, but I think she mistimes a lot of it. I think she misunderstands the company that invents something, or the guy that invents something, or the guy that, the founder of some company, just because they're a disruptor, just because they come up with a new idea, doesn't mean they're going to be able to monetize that. Doesn't mean they're going to be actually be able to get to market. Doesn't mean they're going to actually be able to scale. Doesn't mean they're actually going to be able to get margins. There's usually somebody better than that who has a business background who comes in, steals their idea, partners with them, wipes them out, rips them off, whatever the case may be, takes their idea, improves on it, tweaks it, and figures out how to make money off of it. And that's the company you want to invest in. And that's what SoFi is. Some of these companies can all have AI and revolutionary technology, and Upstart can sell you that all day long. But these guys are not real companies with staying power. SoFi decided to make these deals. NFL, NBA. SoFi decided that they were not going to pump short term. They were going to build a long term monster, a powerhouse. They want to be a top 10 financial institution. And I'm not saying they're going to achieve that goal, at least maybe not in my lifetime. Who knows? Maybe it's 15, 20 years down the road. But think about it. You have a 50x on your hands, guys. If they can get even a fraction of where they want to be, you're going to have one hell of an investment on your hands. Now, yes, there's a ton of risk. There's a ton of risk because they've just made their first 2 cents. We could hit a recession. We could hit a bunch of, defaults on their loans. Our loan book could get hit hard. They could swing to making a big loss very, very easily. It's not impossible. Don't be naive. This is a young company. There are risks. But anytime you're talking about these high rewards, you're going to have high risk as well. But I think that risk reward profile is extremely, extremely favorable for SoFi. And that's why I'm a SoFi investor. I'm not only the client, I'm also the CEO. I'm not going to take off my toupee on camera because I am also the CEO of the hair club in my spare time. We are rolling in cash, Matt Flo. Well, that makes one of us. um, y'all agree? SoFi tweaking. I don't know what we're agreeing with here, Emilio. SoFi MBA makes me feel very warm. They must have great trust. Yeah, I mean, think about management. They're playing for 2026, 2027, 2028. These deals are going to take time. The RFPs that they're putting out, that they're answering, they're going to take time. This company is playing the long game. They are playing chess. They are playing three-dimensional chess. 800 credit scores pay their bills. I completely agree, Matt Flo. Guys, that's about all I had on the SoFi stock. I just think, these folks that really trash the stock because it's a young company, because it's a fintech, it's the same argument. Oh, it's a SPAC. It's worthless. Just because some SPACs were bad doesn't mean other SPACs are bad. Just because some fintechs are a flash in the pan with no staying power Doesn't mean they all are. Someone will disrupt banking. People will not accept zero interest and high fees and getting bent over a barrel forever. They just won't. They're seeing the alternatives. Young, intelligent people that are savvy, that make a lot of money, that are well educated, have good jobs, who are the SoFi customer. They're not going to accept the zero interest from the big banks forever. Think about the difference it makes if you're getting 0.01 interest versus 3 or 4% on all the money you have in the bank for your entire life. It's absurd, guys. I mean, SoFi's helping people get their money right. Big banks hate it, shorts don't like it, but I mean, with net profit, we see, the smart money really rushing into the stock every single day, and the shorts can't do anything to stop it. I think they're going to have to cover, but I don't know. My first credit card, BBVA credit card, I got the card for growing up watching the NBA. I mean, Mopar for life. These basketball fans spend money. They are using financial services. They are doing things. They are out. They are traveling. They are young. They are happening. They are SoFi customers. Those are the customers we want. This is huge, guys. This is absolutely huge. Guys, it's the SoFi stock. The ticker symbol is SOFI. The show is Un Poco Mas. My name is Danny Deals. We would like to say happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers out there. I'd like to say happy Valentine's Day and a huge I love you to the absolute best Valentine in the world, Princess J. Also, happy Valentine's Day to cutes wherever you're running around here. You guys have a great one, have a safe one, and we will talk again at you real soon. Thanks for watching. Peace. I'm out.